Alright, hey everyone. I haven't made a video in a while. I've been busy with life, work, things like that. But I wanted to go into sharing what I've been using as my main income and liabilities kind of spreadsheet, or you could say your budgeting spreadsheet. I've had a lot of money talks with some friends. It's kind of re-inspired me on just budgeting and money and investing for the future. So this is what I've been using for the last several years. I've refined it and tweaked it almost every week because I just enjoy the process of it. I like looking at it. So I've made this fresh version where I've wiped it. I will be sharing a link down in the description. It's completely free, but I want to walk you through how I use it so it makes a little sense to everyone, so it isn't just, as I select that, so it isn't just confusing and you don't know what to do. So this is similar to one I shared before in the past that I think I charged for, but this is the updated version, and it's completely free. Like I said, everything that I have highlighted in this blue, this cauliflower blue 3, quite a name, is something you'll need to fill out or add in. Obviously, I just have some examples of my own stuff, or what I literally had written down for, say, my subscriptions, my car, my pets, which were my cats. But I want to show you how you go through this. Now, a lot of the numbers of a spreadsheet like this, you can't guess, you need to know exactly. So it does require you looking at your credit card balances and understanding, maybe tracking your actual expenses for a few weeks to really, or for a few months to really know. Stuff like rent and utilities is easy. So let's just run through it as if this is yours, and then I can walk through each process. But I will quickly overview. This is the main spreadsheet here. That'll tell you all your information. I do have a journal section where you will actually, what I do is copy and paste my credit card statements in here, and then I kind of organize it into what expense or revenue source it is, which will overall give me my totals here for 2024. And I have to update this every time it's a new year. So, I mean, we're partway through, but we'll have to update it for 2025. Then I have a more a more specific one where I can look into stuff. Shopping expenses. I even kept some of my old numbers for food, so I can show you examples here, which I'll get into more detail in a second here. But overall, diving in here as if this is your own, let's say your hourly rate is $40 an hour. I'm going to keep the tax percentage around that because I believe that's what mine was. But basically what I would do is I get paid weekly. I would see what my weekly check was. Then I'd just make sure this percentage was close to it, so I actually got paid. That's exactly what it was. So $40 an hour, let's say you don't do any freelance, but maybe you have passive income from, say, high interest savings accounts or some dividends. And let's say you get $50 a month from that. So this is supposed to be a month. It doesn't say, but then it tells you the year. So then you have your income here. And what I like is I have like my percentages of everything, like 100% of my income is there, 100% of my income is there. And then it starts filling out percentage of income as well here. This is a nice one because I like to see where my minimum for investing is. I want 15% to be my minimum. So I want to invest, say, almost $200 a week if this was my numbers. Then I have rent zone, which is like around here. And my investment goal is to get to 35. So we filled out our pay, or how much we're making on income. Now we need to start filling out our liabilities. Let's say your rent plus utilities is $1,200. And you see it went green there. So what we actually have to do on these ones is put a negative sign in front of them. Because we're not making that, we're losing that. You can see right away it's already showing me that if it was $1,200, it's 22% of my income, which is within the renting zone here. These are just kind of like my own numbers to pick what I want percentage wise. Obviously everyone's different scenario will set up to that, but I'm leaving that in there. Let's say food. Now this is one I actually kept in my old one, because what I would do before, like I said, is put in all my credit card statements here, fill out each category that it is. I don't have it here to share my exact numbers, but I did keep my food. So what I did over the last while is I recorded it for several months, as you can see. And just a statement, this is usually I'm paying for myself and my girlfriend for this. We split money other ways, but for food I usually cover a decent bit of it. That's why it might seem pretty high. And then what I would do is I took the average of the last 6 months. So the last 6 months I take the average, so I'm at almost 1,300 here. Let's just say 1,300, give ourselves a little bit of a bonus or benefit of the doubt. You can see now all of a sudden this is starting to fill out as well, my food to my rent. Now let's just quickly go through some of these as well. What's nice is you can see subscriptions, car, cats should say pets here. I'll update it when you see it, but this should also not be highlighted. But these ones that are bolded and have color are actually linked to the ones below here that will carry over. So for 1 month, let's say our gym is $30. Let's say our Spotify, I forget exactly what it is. Let's say 15, Amazon Prime, let's say 11, YouTube TV, say 15, Crunchyroll 8. These are close to, I think, what they are. 12. I think Netflix is 15. Macro Factor, I don't know. These are just my own subscriptions. You can fill them out how you want and stretch them out. But let's say that, so our subscriptions a month are $118. You can see for our percentage of our bills, that's almost 5%. Our percentage of pay is about 2. For car, let's say you have zero cost for parking, for gas, $60, insurance, $200. And if you're financing a car, let's say it's like $400. Just filling out these examples so then we can talk through everything here. For pets, if you have, let's say you don't have any pets, but if you had pets, you can fill this out here. Your phone bill, you see these are, you will also notice, as I'm kind of all over the place with this one, is there's a line right here that separates these top ones from the bottom ones. Again, these are my own things you can put in. That's because these ones I viewed as fixed costs or fixed expenses. So later on when I'm calculating my emergency fund, there's a difference between my full expenses and my basic expenses. As you can see, the basic expenses or my fixed costs are above that line. So that's basically so I know, like, my emergency fund is going to be based off the information here. And if I'm in an emergency and I need to cut back, things below this line can be cut. Okay, let's say phone bill is $40 a month. Internet, let's say, is $50 a month. I put hair, but you do what you want. Let's say it's $35. Soccer, sports, just leave these ones empty. One thing I will say before we get too detailed into it is I always had this number of what I thought my monthly expenses were. And when I actually started recording everything through journaling, which was placing every credit card statement within here and seeing what the totals were, I then realized that it was a lot higher. So because of that, I would take whatever the average was of the monthly expenses and add a buffer that would equal out to it. And I had it really high for me personally because I was a decent bit off. So let's say it was 1,000. Now you can start to see where your expenses are being divided. So that's how you fill out the expenses, and you can start to look at the numbers now. So looking at the numbers here, I can see if I want a 3-month emergency fund, which would be a goal of everyone, it's around 13,000. But if you really look at the basic expenses, if we cut back on, say, the haircuts and the buffer, which the buffer is usually unexpected, things you're just doing, you're buying, shopping, and living your life, it's really around 7,800. Which you can just, sorry, it's a lot to take in. I haven't really explained all this to anyone before. But then what I would do is I'd move over to this side here and then say, emergency fund is my savings. Is how much you'd want to save. Is you also have it over here as well, as you can see my totals. So let's say you already in your bank account, these are your bank accounts on this side here, I should say, you already have $500. And you can see that's 6% of the goal for my emergency fund. I have liquid cushion, but it's my emergency fund. You can see how close it is. I also have other goals, like say this one, an example, I want to save up to play hockey. So say I need $2,000 for that, which I don't, $1,000 for that. Say I also have 500. So I do that incorrectly. It's just a nice way to track how close you are to your goals and your emergency fund. Obviously, you should be hitting your emergency fund before you hit any other goals. Now, what I like to do is I kept some of the names, but my 401k, my RSP, because I'm Canadian, I'm doing both. But if you're American, this is all set in just USD, so you probably don't need that. But let's say your employer has like a match you want to do. Sorry, I'm fucking losing where I am. Either way, this area is your totals. You can see what you have left over per week, per month, just with your basic expenses or your expenses here and your income. And that's when we dive into where we want to move that extra money, whether it be saving for my emergency fund, which is EF, a goal, or your 401k. So most people will have some kind of employee match. That should always be the first thing you're aiming for. So let's just say you want to put $200 a week, which is pretty high, but say that's what you needed to hit your employee match. That brings this down. Actually, that's a little high for this example, for this pay rate. Let's go, I don't know, $120 a week. Say you have to put that in to meet your employee match. Now you can see you have a little bit less here. And usually what I like to do for an extra buffer and my sum is keep it around 50. There's just like a note I would have, like, even though you have such a larger buffer, I would always be like, well, let's make sure this extra cash as an extra safety would be here. So we have to do let's say you have to do the 401k match first, and then your next biggest thing right here would be saving for an emergency fund since you're so far off. So say you want to keep that 50 buffer that I was mentioning, even though, like I said, you already have a big buffer here, we put another 50 a week, and this should be automatic, by the way. Like the 401k should automatically come onto your paycheck, and your bank account should automatically be moving these around when you get paid. So now it's letting us know that we're investing about 9% and we're saving about 4%. So as you can see here, my goals were always 15%, but we do need to save to an emergency fund first. Look up Money Guy's financial order operations if you want to see the order you should be doing your money in, or you should be using your money and saving your money and investing your money. But let's say in this example now you have already hit your emergency fund. Just for the hell of it, let's say you've saved up 8,000. Well, boom, we're already over our emergency fund. So now we don't need to, I realized I wrote that in goal. I meant to write this in emergency fund. So now we don't need to save for the emergency fund. So what we could do now is invest it into, like I said, I'm Canadian, so I have the RSP here, which is the same thing as 401k, but Canadian version. Let's say now you have some fun money to invest and you want to invest, say, maybe $25 a week into other investments that isn't your 401k, but really you should be putting it in and kind of going to your max first. Let's say you're doing that, then that leaves us another bit here, say $25 left over to go into your goals. And that's kind of how I use it. I made this tailored for me specifically. I just think if people want something like this, they can use this and go off that. A big thing is at the end of every month, I just download all my credit card statements, place them in here, and kind of have to adjust it a bit and fill it out. But then you can see here if I put like $1,000, oh, sorry, this is the date. So today is 7/14/24. And let's say these ones you don't have to write a negative for, just so you know, you just write the number. Let's say I spent $500 and it was on food. Let's say I went to McDonald's for $500. I know it's a crazy number. We're just going to say that for fun. Now, if I go to my total income, you can see here, my net income, you can see that I spent $500. You can see I'm negative $500 for the week. When it's in brackets, that means it's negative. And if you go to reports, you don't see it here, but if you actually go to food, then it shows up there. What I do in the journaling as well, not just my expenses, I do write my income. So you, like I said, you could say you got paid the same day or same day. You got, I don't know, say a dividend of $50 from QQQ. Now, if you go to the total, you can see you got paid 50 and how much you actually have left. So it really requires you filling it all out. I would say even if you don't want to do the journaling and this stuff, the first page, just based off estimates, is useful. And it can really just give you like a better look at your finances and help you save or invest and make sure you're using your money properly. For me, as a Canadian living in America, I do have the 6 months saved, but I feel like I should have more. Sorry, the 3 months saved. I do feel like I should have more, just because obviously if I get fired, I have to, uplift my whole life back to Canada and sell things. And that'd be quite an expensive process. So for me, I'm going through the Money Guy's financial order of operations, which you should look that up. And I'm saving a larger emergency fund, and then I've already matched my 401k, matched my RSP, or I can always say V in there, RSP. And then what I want to do is hit that larger emergency fund, and then I can start investing a little more fun, you could say, where it's like just adding more to it. But yeah, this is basically my basic income and liability spreadsheet and how I use it. If it's helpful or useful for you, cool. If not, have a good day.